Welcome to Worldwide Business. I'm Kathy Ireland. We all aim to protect ourselves to the best of our ability. But what about our company's cloud or our network? How do we protect our business from cyber criminals? How do we know if we're vulnerable? These are the concerns that demand immediate attention. But where do we start? Winquest Cybersecurity delivers military-grade cybersecurity solutions to businesses who are at equal or greater risk than larger firms. CEO John Leach joins us today to tell us more. Welcome, John.
Thank you, Kathy. It's wonderful to be here.
And John, what cyber threats concern you the most, and how does Winquest Cybersecurity address these?
Well, right now it's ransomware. And it's ransomware because ransomware, compared to, say, the larger hacks that required a lot of resources and the creation of what we call zero-day vulnerabilities specifically for that target, ransomware works against millions of businesses all over the world for quite a bit less effort than, say, a big hack. And if your business gets hit with ransomware and you're not prepared, you're in big trouble. So there was an instance about a year ago where 2 hospitals got hit with ransomware. One hospital had to pay the ransom, reported anywhere from $10,000 to $40,000, and they were lucky they got their data back. There was another hospital that got hit with the same ransomware and refused to pay the ransom. They were down for about a week, and they came back up and continued operations. And the reason for that is, it was very clear, at least to me, one hospital had their system backed up and the other didn't. So preparation for a ransomware attack is probably one of the #1 things that a business can do today.
Can you give us an example of how you're making cybersecurity affordable for smaller businesses?
Yes, we've created something called the CAVA. It stands for the Cybersecurity Abbreviated Vulnerability Assessment. And what the CAVA is it's a single-day abbreviated assessment that shows a business what their top 5 to 10 most critical vulnerabilities are. So very quickly, the way it works is, of course, we execute a confidentiality agreement with the client. We understand what the scope is. We go through a rules of engagement so they understand what we can and can't do, what they want us to do and not do. And then we deploy our team, ideally to site, if possible. And we do a minimum of 4 hours of vulnerability scanning. We usually do 2 senior experts, or 1 senior, 1 younger. And then they do about an hour or 2 of analysis. And at the end of the day, they give an executive level PowerPoint presentation that tells the client, here's the baseline, here's how many total vulnerabilities you had, and here are some of the specific, most dangerous ones that we found and prioritized for you. So they automatically have a roadmap, and in many cases, their IT provider is sitting right there with them, and so you would tell me what my vulnerabilities are, and I would turn to my IT person and say, got it, right? So that translation goes right across. In some cases, because some of our services are very affordable, the travel expenses were actually more than the service itself. Because, we like to be on site to address insider threat and physical security, but when we're on the East Coast and some of our clients are on the West Coast, we wanted to have a capability to provide affordable services to them as well. So the Centra is a very compact box. It's a remote monitoring capability. We'll send to a client. They'll install it, very easy to install on their network, and it allows us access so that we can remotely do our assessments, from anywhere where we need to. Much lower cost, and they get the same value.
And in terms of vulnerabilities, John, can you please give us some examples of the types of questions businesses should be asking themselves?
So it's a common refrain, but are we ready for a ransomware attack? And if not, then what do we need to do? Beyond that, it would be, how educated are our employees? Do they know when something looks suspicious? Do they know what to do, who to talk to, who to report to if something just isn't right in their network? The third would be, of course, what simple vulnerabilities do I have in my network? A lot of hardware and software applications have something called default passwords. And if a business doesn't change the default passwords, the hackers know this, and so if they get into the network through some other way, and you're using a default password, now they own your network. But other questions as well. what's the security like of your third-party vendors? Because again, I can have the best security in the world, but if one of my passwords is given up by a third-party vendor, it's all for nothing. And then the last thing, mobile devices. We love them, we've got them everywhere, but that's a concern too. So businesses need to have a bring your own device policy that says what employees can and can't do on their own personal devices.
Wow, well, your work really does help us sleep better at night.
Thank you, Kathy. That's our goal. So we want to fight fear with knowledge so our clients can sleep better at night.
Lastly, John, what do you think the future holds for cybersecurity, and how does Winquest Cybersecurity plan to lead the industry?
Well, it's interesting. Some of the conversations we've had, we talk about fear and the reasons companies don't do this. Companies know up here they need to do it, but in here there's a lot of problem about actually moving forward. So we provide services, but one of the services we provide are being the client's trusted advisor. Our people have a talent for being able to talk to a client and actually lay out what's going on or what could happen without making the client run screaming into the night. And that's a rare thing because the risk is very, very alarming. But if you're not prepared, you're betting your business. And so we try and become the trusted advisor because even if they have an incident, we want to be their incident response provider so that we can drop everything, deploy, and help them recover, which we've done with clients before.
Thank you for sharing your powerful story. Congratulations on all your success.
Thank you, Kathy.
Thank you. For Worldwide Business, I'm Kathy Ireland. Thank you for watching.